Lazard's Shareholder Advisory and Activism Defense team is just out with our first half 2025 review of shareholder activism, and I'm excited to share some of our key findings with you today. First off, on a global basis, the 150 new campaigns that we observed in the first half of the year is in line with last year's record-setting pace, which means we're running at about 23% above the 5-year historical average level for the first 6 months of the year. But below the surface of our global data, there are some interesting regional trends that I'll delve into now. In North America, we actually saw a 17% year-over-year increase in activity, driven mainly by a spike in activity in the US and by software activity in particular, where we saw a number of campaigns focused on operational and strategic change. It was a slightly different story in Europe, where we actually saw a year-over-year decline in activity of about 23%. Interestingly, though, in Europe, it was the healthcare sector that for the first time was the most targeted sector by activists in the first half of the year. And then finally, in APAC, it was really all about Japan. 18 new campaigns in the first half of the year, already approaching last year's full year total level. And a lot of the activity we observed in Japan was actually driven by non-local activist hedge funds rather than the local players who had dominated activity in prior years. So if I were to bring this all together for our clients, for C-suites, and for boards, activism remains a potent force in the market that we think requires careful monitoring and careful preparedness. Our data shows that the countries and the sectors that activists focus on have changed, the activists themselves have changed, and we think companies need to be leveling up their preparedness accordingly.